do that, I think Brothers can get away with it this afternoon. Mark, if we can just have a chat to you now that we've discussed the game, the retirement, and we spoke at a press conference this week. You obviously agonised over the decision a lot, didn't you?
Oh, Pat, it was fairly obvious to me probably a month ago that to get back on the paddock would be highly unlikely. It was a matter of waiting for a final assessment from the specialists on the eye regarding sight, and then picking the right time to make it public that I wouldn't play again. And I think, you know, this week's as good as any.
You said the other day at the press conference that this is obviously not the way you would like to go out when you were retired. It was supposed to be champagne corks. Yes,
I'd like to have scored half a dozen tries and kicked a few goals and then opened the champagne after the last game. But, yeah, that's not to be, Pat, and, you know, I just have to learn to accept it, which I have done, and I've had some good times, and just remember those. It's been tremendous.
Mark, you've had some, as you say, some great career highlights, certainly part of that historic 82 Kangaroo Tour, and of course many memorable State of Origin matches. Probably a difficult question, but is there any one thing that stands out in your mind? Well, I guess the North's Grand Final in 80 would it be another?
Yeah, well, the North's Grand Final in 80, the 82 Tour, the State of Origin games, and playing for your country, they're all highlights. But, you know, just the friendship and the mateship, the respect that you get from playing the game, you know, very physical contact sport, and it's a great character builder. And some of the guys that you meet in the game are characters, and they turn out to be great mates, and I think that's probably the highlight, the social times that I've had from the game, and the friendships and memories that'll go on with me for the next 50 years, hopefully.
At countless sportsmen's nights to come in the future, that you're going to be asked who was the best halfback you marked.
I think I'll always come up with the same answer. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Steve Mortimer. Also, he's a great bloke as well as a great player, and you know, his individual flair was more of a concern for me when I was playing against him, with a one-on-one battle in mind. Whereas Peter Sterling's a player of undoubted class, but he's not a worry to me personally. He's a worry to the team overall because of his tactics and the way he plays the game, his individual brilliance and running game, so to speak. You know, he's not in the same class as Mortimer. He's not going to run away from me and score a 50-metre try, but he might throw a pass or something to set somebody else up to do that. So as an individual battle, I think Steve Mortimer had more brilliance.
What about the Mark Murray thoughts, just quickly, on the State of Brisbane League? I know good news this week with the retention of the two star players, I suppose, Lewis and Miles, but what direction do you think it's headed?
Well, I think we had the perfect opportunity to go to Sydney this year, and yeah, I'm very disappointed personally, although I was never going to be involved in a side playing down there because of the injury, but I was disappointed to hear the decision that came out of the BRL and the QRL. I think that the time was right. We're only losing players year after year, and I think it would have been time to put the plug in the pipe, you know, that's dripping every year, and get a bit of a backup and stop the drips going down there. And sorry, boys, and restock in Brisbane, you know. And I think the time was right. But hopefully we look to the future, and that'll happen in the next season or two.
OK, mate, well, you've given a lot of people watching League over the years a lot of delight. I think we worked it out the other day, the two mathematic geniuses, 15 State of Origin matches, 6 Test matches, a host of games for your state, and of course that 82 Kangaroo Tour. Congratulations on a great career. It's a tragedy to see you go this way, but I certainly hope you'll be with us again on Sportscene sometime in the future and pass on your comments over the next couple of years.
Thanks, Patrick. I've enjoyed every one of those games, and I thank the public and the media for their support.
OK, Mark Murray, one of the great players of Queensland League, of course, retiring from the game this week. And, mate, we're not leaving you empty-handed despite the chopper ride this morning, which we will promise to get you home on. A pair of 60-minute slacks from Stewart's, the suits specialists, who are sponsoring the Rugby League segment right here on Sportscene. They'll be going to Mark Murray this week. So, Muppet, thanks very much again for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
Macca, you'll be back a little later on with the Sydney Rugby League. And Bernie, thank you. We'll see you next week to analyse the preliminary final and preview the grand final. Just before I take this break, there are a host of functions coming up to the grand finals. I haven't got time to plug them all. I know Valleys have got a big players reunion on Friday night. Brothers have also got a function, Rugby League Week, to which we'll be crossing live next Sunday on Sportscene, have a big function, as well as most of the clubs have grand final breakfast. So contact your clubs there. I haven't got time, as I said, to plug all of them, but if you're a club supporter, give the clubs a ring and they'll be able to fill you in on all the details. That's the league segment. Be back with more action on Sportscene in a moment.
Should be a great game at Lang Park today with my